all my knees out and everything. Should I even get on live right now? Should I wait? Announce it on Twitter or something? Hello. Whoever just joined this live, welcome to my live. I know that it's late. People probably sleep, probably like, why would she go live at midnight and all of that? But I was kind of like trying to distract myself from the fact that my boyfriend is driving and it's late and the cops been tripping lately and the car is not 100% straight with the tags and stuff. So trying to keep my mental, focused on something else. And two, hey girl, I'm feeling okay, I guess, I'm surviving, I'm living. Just found out your girl is getting some thighs because I put on my jeans today and for whatever reason they was not fitting me. So hold up, I'm gonna pause. It's going to pause me. But I'm back now. Okay, so yeah. I wanted to talk about because everybody's been asking me why, and I've been having all these conversations about it. Why I've been posting these polls about what am I saying? I've been posting all these polls on my Instagram, my Twitter, and my here in the community tab, and I've been talking about asking you all about, if you feel like mental health impacts your success or whatever. And the reason why I asked that is because you guys already know I am currently writing a book. So my book is about being successful and being an entrepreneur when you have depression and anxiety. And like I said before, also right now I am having some anxious feelings and I just feel like I need to be on live, distracting myself or whatever. So here we are talking on the live. I don't really expect anybody to jump into this live now. I really feel like a lot of y'all may come later because it's late and I'm not usually online so late. I don't ever go live so late actually, but there's sometimes I get on live and the live be popping, it be jumping, everybody on here, everybody doing the thing. But then there be times when I pop on live because my problem is that I never come like warn people about my live, be like, hey, I'm going live at such and such o'clock, because I never know when I'm going live. So I apologize. I'm only going to be on here until, let me think, until my boyfriend comes back home. He's out to go get himself some snacks, and I just need a distraction while he's doing that. So yeah, we're live. I'm actually all ready for bed. I'm in my PJs. I got some shorts on underneath this blankety blankie. I'm tired, y'all, like dead tired. But we're here, and I'm doing the thing. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. I really need to look up and invest. Do thumbs up actually do something for your YouTube channel? Like, does it impact you in any way? Hi, Faith. Hi. I don't know why I'm on live so late. Do likes impact your YouTube? Like, what do likes do on YouTube? I've always wondered that, and I feel like I looked it up one time or two times. You look hella tired too. Girl, I'm tired. It's been, this whole week has been a lot because I'm working on so much stuff. If y'all know me, y'all know that I tend to do too much. Like, too much. I've been running new kind of campaign ads on Facebook for my consulting, and that's been like stressful because the type of ads I'm doing I've never done before. So it's a whole new learning curve. And I've been trying to get ahead of my June blog posts because I've already finished May's blog post for the month, but likes are good for your channel because they show that people are interested in your content, which makes YouTube pushed out. Awesome. That's good to know because I did not know what. I knew that likes had to be helpful for some reason because people are like, give this post a thumbs up. And I'm like, there got to be a good reason for that, not just for yourself. Like, it has to do something in YouTube, not just to let you know that people like it, but for other purposes. So, anyway, I've been really working on editing this book, which is what I was actually trying to talk about. Likes, dislike, comments, all that is engagement. YouTube likes, engagement, period. Big. Also, even if you get dislikes, like, it's still gonna do like the same type of helping as if you got likes. Interesting. So, wow, that's crazy. I did not know that. Well, good. That means good for all the haters too. You know, that's pretty bomb. Anyway, I meant to. The reason why I came up with this whole live, and the reason why I've been asking questions about whether or not people think that success is, or if it's harder to be successful due to entrepreneurship. I can't talk. See, this is the problem with lives and why I don't do them, because I can't get my words together. The reason I was asking the questions about mental health and how it reflects to your journey to entrepreneurship and being successful in life is because I have been editing this book, and then anxiety came, and I started to think, what if no, this is not for anyone? Like, what if nobody wants to learn about this or hear about this or discuss or have anything to say? Like, what if your audience doesn't exist for people that have depression or anxiety and they are trying to be an entrepreneur or whatever? And then I was like, that can't be true, because I know for a fact that it's not. Like, the reason why I started making the book in the first place is because I kept getting questions about how I was doing so much, about how I was running a business and how I was, doing YouTube and how I was doing a blog and how I was doing all this stuff while having depression and anxiety. I was like, so clearly there are people who want to know how this works and how that fits for me. But for some reason, my mind was just telling me, like, nobody wants to read this book. Nobody's going to be interested in this book. Nobody cares about this topic. Like, this is pointless. This is purposeless. So then I was like, okay, maybe it would help me and my jumbled up brain that decides to just think things on its own if I asked everybody, if they felt like entrepreneurship or just success in general was more difficult. Why am I out of breath? I've done nothing. Like, whew. Because I talk too much. That's what it is. I'm out of breath because I talk too much. But why? I'm tired. Do you feel like success is impacted by your mental health? And almost like literally every poll I did, most people said yes. There were some people who said no. I got into an entire debate with somebody who had that mentality, like, oh, all you have to do is think positively and the depression and anxiety will go away. And I was like, okay. like I remember, like, as soon as I read it, I just kind of like looked at the message and was like, did you just say that? Like, I was like, okay. I'm not even, like, at first I wasn't going to debate, and then I realized he said he was going to make an entire podcast talking about this issue, and I was like, there are probably like so many people who have depression and anxiety who would hear something like that, like, oh, all you have to do is think positively, and they'll take it to heart, and then that'll make their depression like worse. Like, I know from experience that if you think that you can just reverse your thinking, or you think you can just by yourself without actionable tools and steps and working through it and all this other stuff, if you think that, oh, all you have to do is think positive thoughts and da 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 and it'll change everything and everything will be good, oh, you can just fix depression like it's a light switch that's off and on, like, oh, we're not going to be depressed today, off, like it works like that. Like, I like, when I read it, I was just like, clearly you don't know what depression and anxiety is like, because if it was that simple, oh my gosh, would I do it? Like, oh my god, like when I read it, like I could just imagine, nah, that don't work. Yeah, it really doesn't. Like, when you have depression and anxiety, I really would love to say that it's something that you could just be like, oh, I feel this way, so I don't want to feel this way, because nobody wants to feel down and sad and miserable. Like, that's not a positive emotion. Like, especially when you got things to do, when you a business person, when you have a YouTube channel, or when you have things that you're trying to do, You don't want to not feel like doing it. Like, you don't, like, it's really like a lot of people who don't suffer from it themselves tend to always be the ones who say, like, oh, all you have to do is such and such and such and such. And I'm just like, what? Like I was like, that's not all you have to do. And I don't even, I used to get mad because I used to hear stuff like, oh, that's just an excuse, and that's just, an excuse for you not to be successful, or that's just an excuse for you not to move forward, and stuff like that. And it used to really bother me. But the more I educated myself, because I educated myself, I decided, what, nobody was going to tell me anything. I was going to read for it myself. I bought all the books. I listened to the lectures, and I mean the lectures, like the people who got the doctorate degrees in psychology and mental health, and all of that. And I listened to all of that, and I realized, like, this is a mental illness, and it's something that there are some people who, you can get depressed without suffering from depression. There is a difference, and that's what I was trying to explain to the guy. Like, he was like, oh, I've been depressed before. I said, okay, lots of people, most people at some point in their lives have been depressed before. There is a difference between being depressed because, oh, something happened in your life, than somebody who just out of nowhere could be completely happy and there could be nothing wrong happening in your life, but all of a sudden you feel so darkened down. It's like a dark cloud over your head and you can't do anything about it. Like, that joker is just there. And I was like, you really don't understand. Like, unless you've been there, unless you've been in that, like, dark emotional turmoil, like, unless you felt it, like, I don't even know how to describe the feeling of emptiness or the feeling of darkness. Like, you literally just don't know unless you know. like like that's really all there is. So when people say stuff like that, it's just kind of like, that is people like that is the reason why I'm writing this book, because I've been dealing with this for a while. And I coming up, like, when I was a little kid and I dealt with it, it wasn't common. Like, people didn't talk about mental health stuff. People didn't talk about that type of thing when I was a little girl. Where I was from, nobody I knew talked about it ever. I never heard anybody talk about mental health in any way, form, or fashion until I graduated high school. Literally, like, this is not a joke. I'd never heard anybody mention mental health. I'd never heard anybody other than my therapist mention depression and anxiety until I graduated high school. And even then, I didn't start hearing until I was like 19. So this isn't something, like, some people really, truly, honest to God, don't understand. And I'm not mad at them. I'm not upset with them. But I'm writing this book, one, so that people can understand what it actually does look like on a regular basis. Even those people who are really down and depressed and nobody else can tell, because they're still laughing, they're still joking, they're still, like, making jokes and talking to you, and you don't see what's really going on the inside, and you don't see what's really going on when they're at home by themselves. Like, all of that will be included in the book. Triggers, education, and actual things that I do that allows me to still do everything that I do and maintain my mental health. Because I've had some people tell me they feel like if they push themselves too hard, they will worsen their depression and anxiety. And in some ways that's true, because I am the queen of workaholism, workaholic, being a workaholic. And a lot of times that does really, really make depression worse for me, because I tend to not limit myself. But when I do limit myself, when I do actually be disciplined with myself in those ways, I find a lot of progress. And when I do all of the things that I mentioned in my book, the depression still comes, the anxiety still comes, but there's a lot more time in between the darkness. There's a lot more time in between the panic attacks. And when I say panic attacks, y'all, my panic attacks get so bad, I feel like I'm having a heart attack. I've had, like, literally, I used to go to the doctor thinking I had chest pains, thinking something was really wrong with me, thinking I was like, my heart was about to explode. And literally the doctor was like, you were having a panic attack. Completely out of nowhere. And, or at least to me, it seemed completely out of nowhere at the time. So it's like, I've learned how to deal with these situations in ways that allows me to get videos up often, pretty frequently, and to post blog posts twice a week, to send emails out to my email list, to work really well for my clients. I always get really good testimonials and reviews, and to be able to build very powerful, great relationships. Like, I take care of myself well, very well. And it was a learning curve. Trust me when I say that. Just like maybe, I want to say 2 years ago, I was a mess. I was so bad at taking care of my mental health and dealing with things properly that I probably had a panic attack 5 nights out of the 7 days a week. I had panic attacks like 5 days, 5 out of 7 days a week. Waking up in the middle of the night with panic attacks, crying, having to go to the emergency room, like bad. It was really bad. And at some point, it got to the point where I was just like, oh my God, I can't live like this. And I found ways to make it more manageable so that I can be successful. And that is what I'm going to talk about in the book and show what that looks like. Because what I was trying to explain to the guy was that you can be just as successful. It's just your journey to success looks different than people who don't have the mental illness. It just looks different for you. You have to take different steps. You have to take different precautionary measures. You have to move differently. And sometimes you have to move slower. You have to take your time with certain things. Sometimes you have to take a step back from things that you're working on, because you can't work on your mental health and then consistently be on the go and working and progressing and all that other stuff at the same time. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way, especially when you have anxiety. It just doesn't work that way. So that's really the main reason why I asked all those questions, because my own brain was like rattling, like nobody's going to want to read this book. Nobody's going to care about anxiety and depression and how it impacts your mental health when it comes to business and stuff. And I just wanted to gauge other people's opinions about what it seemed like, for like, if you guys thought that success was a little bit more harder when it came to mental illness getting in the way. So, oh, he's back.
Who's back?
You're back. I got on live while you were gone to distract myself from the fact that you were driving. So I got in here also to talk about my book a little bit and stuff. What did you get?
Huh?
What did you get?
Annihilators.
This is Nerds.
Annihilators.
Anyway, that's all. And I only wanted to be on here for like 15 minutes or so. So I am about to get off of the live. Hi, thank you for joining. I'm sorry I can't stay long. I'm really tired and I need to sleep. I need to rest before I lose my marbles. Because I know y'all see how tired I look. I know I probably look like I'm high. I promise you I'm not. I'm literally just super duper sleepy and tired. And it's been a really long week on top of a longish weekend. So thank you guys for coming. I love you. Thank you for watching and everything. And yeah, I'll see you guys the next time I go live. Go watch my last video if you haven't, and like this live. And yeah. Why are you singing? Why are you singing?